Hi everyone, my name is Ann Ellis and I am the Children, Youth and Family Minister at Mount Seymour United Church in North Vancouver, and I'd like to welcome you to our Children and Youth Gathering video for January 17th, 2021. This week, for the activity that I'm going to invite you to do after the video ends, you will need 3 printouts from the email that came to your families or that are in the description below. They look like this. The first one says, "All about me." The second one says, "All about me." And the third one says, "All about me." Because that's what this week's video is about. All about me. Well, you, but me, but you. Because not about me, but you. Okay? So you want to get these 3 printouts. Again, they're going to take a little bit of time, so you'll probably do most of them after the video is over. But you can get them if you want. And there you will also need a pencil or a pen. And there's plenty of space for coloring on these too, so you might want to get something to color with. Don't forget to have your Psalm 23 booklet close by for the end of this video. This is the prayer that we're going to say at the end of our videos for the next few weeks so we can practice learning it. We made this booklet in our video from last week, and it also will be in the email sent to your families and linked in the description below. So you want to make sure you have that. And parents, this is a message for you. Hi, thank you for helping your little ones tune in each week. And I wanted to let you know that next week, the activity that we're going to do is a little bit more involved, and we'll need a bit more supplies than what we usually have for our videos. What we're going to be making is something called Holy Listening Stones, but we're not going to make them on stones. We're going to make them on cards. It's a lot easier. So we're going to make holy listening cards. So what you're going to want to have for next week is a couple pieces of cardstock, like thicker paper, as well as scissors and a marker and a glue stick. You could also use cardboard if you've got some cardboard laying around. That will also work. The ones that I've started to make for practice this week, I'm using cardstock and I've drawn the symbols. You'll also can take this printout next week, and next week we'll cut it out and we'll be able to glue these little pictures onto pieces of card. So it's a little bit more involved next week, and I just wanted to give you that heads up. Okay, I think we're getting ready to begin today. Let's take a few deep breaths. And take a moment to remember that you are welcome here. The welcome that we extend at Mount Seymour United Church is as broad and as deep as we can make it. You are welcome here if this is your first time tuning into a video, if this is your first time being involved with anything to do with Mount Seymour United Church. We welcome you. And we welcome you if you've been watching these videos every week since we started back in September. And we welcome you if Mount Seymour United Church has been your second home for months or years, or like me, your entire life. You are welcome here wherever you are on life's journey. And you are welcome here no matter how old or how young you are, no matter your marital status, your financial background. You are welcome here, whatever your cultural or ethnic heritage. You are welcome here, whatever your sexual orientation or gender identity or gender expression. You are welcome here. You are welcome here if you consider yourself to be a Christian, or if you are a part of another faith tradition or religion, or if you don't have any religion at all and you're just curious. You are welcome here. And you are welcome here if you seek the ideals of justice, peace, and compassion. You are welcome here. Mount Seymour United Church is located on the unceded and ancestral territory of the Tsleil-Waututh people, and we are eternally grateful for their stewardship of this land from time immemorial. And we affirm our commitment to working towards reconciliation with the indigenous people of this land and with all people in this world. Here at Mount Seymour, we remember somebody who once did such amazing things and told such wonderful stories that people followed him. And once, when they asked him who he was, he said, "I am a light in this world." And we remember the words of Hildegard of Bingen, a 12th century nun who reminded us that God hugs you. You are encircled by the arms of the mystery of God, and you shine so finely it surpasses all understanding. Last week we talked about a psalm, Psalm 29. Psalms are sort of like poems and stories in the Bible. And Psalm 29 was about God's voice and God always being with you, even during storms and scary times. This week we're going to read from another psalm, Psalm 139, and we're just going to read a few parts of it because it's one of the long ones. And we're going to read the very best parts of that psalm. And those best parts are verses 1 to 6, 13 to 14, and verse 23. This psalm is about a person realizing that God sees them and God knows them, and there is nothing about them that God can't see. And they feel so well known and so seen by God that they are overcome with joy. It is one of my favorite, if not my favorite psalm. O God, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from far away. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, you, God, know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is so high that I cannot attain it. For it was you who formed my inward parts. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works, that I know very well. Search me, God, and know my heart. So I wonder how it feels to know God knows you so well. And I wonder who makes you feel special just for being you. And I wonder what you want people to really know about you. My two favorite lines from Psalm 31 are, "Search me, God, and know my heart," and "I am fearfully and wonderfully made." It's a bit of a strange word to use, fearfully, but it doesn't mean that you're a fearful person. When it's translated from Hebrew, which is the language that the Psalms were written in way back a long time ago, the word means great reverence with heartfelt interest and respect. So a very deep, deep love is what is meant by fearfully and wonderfully made. And that's pretty cool. And because we are fearfully and reverently and wonderfully made, we're going to spend some time getting to know each other a little bit better. Well, you're going to get to know your family a little better because unfortunately I'm not with you, and so I won't get to see you fill in your sheets and tell me all about yourselves. But maybe you could send me a picture of your sheets after you've filled them in. So I want you to get your All About Me sheets, and maybe you'd like to have copies printed out for each member of your family and even your pets if you wanted. And then you can all fill them in and share them with each other and get to know each other a little better. And you may want to take some time after this video is over to think about the answers to these questions. But I'm going to share with you my sheets. So this first one looks like this. Okay, well, it should look like this when it prints out. Mine printed out weird. And it's an all about me. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Anne. I am 43 years old. I was born on December 12th, and I live in North Vancouver. My favorite color is blue. My favorite number is 12. My favorite food is pizza or sushi. When they invent really good sushi pizza, I'm in. When I grow up, I want to be a good person. My favorite animal is a cat, and I like to read and make art and play games with my son. This one's a pretty easy all about me sheet. Maybe the what do I want to be when I grow up might be a little bit, but I'm very curious. I do wonder what all of you want to be when you grow up. This other All About Me sheet has some interesting questions. It asks for your name and your age and asks what grade you're in. I happen to be in school. I'm in my first year of my master's degree program. So I can write, that's what I wrote down for my grade because I'm actually in school. One of my God-given talents is something that you're good at, something that you feel like, and that you enjoy doing, that makes you feel full of joy and goodness when you do it. That's what a God-given talent is. And my God-given talent is being creative. It's one of my favorite things. I drew this. I made this blanket. I love creating things. I didn't put a picture of me because you have a picture of me, but you can put one on at home, or you can draw a picture of yourself, or you could hand it to your family member and draw a picture of your family member. You could each draw each other. That would be super fun. My favorite event in the Bible is, I have a couple. My favorite story in the Bible is this one time. Jesus is standing around with all the adults and he's talking to them about very important things, like very serious matters, and he's teaching them very important things. He's trying to teach the adults some important, and this whole big group of children come running over and like, hey, Jesus, and like, slam into his legs and like hug him and climb all over him. And Jesus like falls over laughing and it's just like giving them big hugs and like, hey kids, how's it going? And all the adults are like, what are you doing? The kids aren't supposed to be here. This is very serious time. We're supposed to be having a very serious time. And Jesus is like, come on. Yeah, sure. We can be serious, but we also need to remember that being like a child and finding joy and wonder and excitement in the world is really, really important. And so he blesses all of the children and he says, let all the little children come to me and I will bless them and I will love them. And then they go scampering off and he starts teaching the adults the very serious subject matter again. And I like that story the best because it helps me to remember that Jesus blessed the children and taught the adults. And that's what we try to do here, is we try to bless all the children. Even the grown-up children are children of God, and they get blessed. And the grown-up people, they can learn the important, serious stuff, and we'll just have some fun. This last All About Me sheet doesn't actually say all about me, but it's part of the thing. And it says, my academic goals. That's a fancy word for my school goals. And then my spiritual goals. And so what I wrote down for my academic goals is I want to study and learn so that I can get my master's degree and that I can get ordained. And ordained is a fancy word for being, I guess, more of a minister. I don't know. It lets you do cool things. And my spiritual goal is to always remember that I am fearfully and wonderfully made, and that I am loved by God just the way I am. So take some time with your families after this video is over to fill in one or all of these sheets with each other and share them. And I hope that it helps you to get to know your family better and maybe get to know yourself a little better. Maybe you've never thought about spiritual goals or your favorite story in the Bible, and there'll be something interesting to think about. And if you want to send me an email and let me know what the answers to your All About Me sheets are, that would be super great. I would love to see them. So to close today, we are going to practice Psalm 23 a little bit more. Last week we talked about the language in this booklet using the word Lord and male pronouns. And I want to remind you again that if you would like to use a different name and different pronouns, that you are absolutely free to do so. You can change the name of Lord to God or Creator or Father or Mother or Blessing Maker or Holy One, Gentle Presence. There's all sorts of names for God out there, and whatever works for you is great. Then you can also change the pronouns if you would like, from he and him to she and her, or they and them, or not use any pronouns at all, which is what I try to do with this psalm. And of course, if the word Lord and male pronouns is what makes you feel comfortable and is your chosen way of addressing God, then please continue to use those words, for they are all good too. The Psalms remind us that people's relationships with God are deeply personal, especially in today's Psalm 139. We saw that it's essentially important. And part of relationship with talking to God is imagining God in a way that fits right for you. And so it's okay to change the language about God's gender to fit for you and what you need. I started coloring my booklet this week, and I colored the front and the words we learned last week and the words we're going to work on today. And I want to show you one section that I colored because it's the part of Psalm 23 that has the scary words in it. Again, I think I mentioned before that when I was young, I didn't always like Psalm 23 because of this scary part in the psalm. And I want us to remember that those words are there to remind us that God is with us during the scary times. And so when I colored this picture, you can see that I colored it with a whole bunch of stars up in the sky, because the words about a shadow valley of death made me think that it would be a dark place. And I thought, well, if there's stars in the sky, then there will always be light in that place as well. Okay, let's practice our psalm. God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside quiet waters. God restores my soul and guides me in paths of righteousness for God's name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you, God, are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We're going to read this part again. God is my shepherd, I shall not want. God makes me lie down in green pastures and leads me beside quiet waters. God restores my soul and guides me in paths of righteousness for God's name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, God. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. We'll learn a couple more lines of this psalm next week, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you. Reminder, we're going to make holy listening cards, so you'll want to bring some cardstock or cardboard and scissors and glue next week for our video. Okay, I will see you again really soon. Bye.